Welcome agents, I'm DeadSockPuppet coming to you with another Division 2 video. Today I want to talk about survival and what we might get in the Division 2. So SkillUp conducted an interview at E3 with the Ubisoft creative director Julian Garrity and Massive game director Matthias Carlson. If you haven't seen the interview yet, I've linked to it in the description below, and I highly suggest that you check it out. As part of the interview, they began discussing survival and whether or not it'll be in the Division 2. While Garrity didn't confirm it, he did say that he loves survival and that he'd be incredibly surprised if it didn't come back to the Division 2 in Washington, D.C. If you want to see that portion of the interview, you can click the link below and queue it up to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So taking Garrity's comments into consideration, what might we get in the Division 2? How could survival make an appearance? How would it work with extreme heat versus extreme cold? Before addressing these questions, I want to take a step back to the current game. There were many players that were hoping the LZ in the Division 1 would have been survival, that players would have to scrounge for resources and try to avoid freezing to death. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Rather, it became the basis for a game mode. Something else to consider, while many parts of the Division 1 have been tweaked, like Underground, DZ, and the LZ, survival hasn't had any real changes. It's possible that Massive has considered changes for survival in Division 1, and that they could have been held to provide us new features for survival when it drops in Division 2. So back to the questions. What might we get in the Division 2? How could survival make an appearance? How would it work with extreme heat versus extreme cold? One of the trailers mentioned that DC is experiencing one of the hottest summers during the time of the Division 2. Many of the mechanics in survival could easily be altered from cold to heat. Instead of looking for shelter from warmth, agents could instead find shade from heat. Water or food could serve as a similar purpose as a means to regulate body temperature and fuel agents during their run. Scavenging and loot could be the same. Players start with nothing and have to search the playable area. While survival could play the same, I'd like to see something different than the sepsis we fought in Division 1. Agents could be afflicted with extreme heat stroke and use meds like we did with the pills and medicine to temporarily stave off the condition until they can extract to a medical facility. Based on the gameplay footage that we've seen so far, I don't think the LZ will be like survival, rather it will be a game mode like it was in Division 1. I'd be okay with that, although it would be cool if players were able to toggle survival mode on or off for the entire game. Either way, there's two additional changes I'd like to see in survival in Division 2. First, if it's a game mode like I think it will be, I'd like to see resources randomly spawn for each game. While having stationary locations is nice for players learning the mode, it gives a huge advantage to those that memorize the map. Second, the loot needs to be comparable to other game activities. In the Division 1, people play survival because they like it, not to get good loot. This wasn't addressed in the Division 1 and probably won't be this late in the game, but it should definitely be a concern if this is brought to the Division 2. Again, I think survival could be a great component for the Division 2 as long as the issues from the Division 1 are addressed. I would hope that the upgraded Snowdrop engine would be able to randomize the resource spawns and create a better loot pool for the mode. While I'd love to be able to toggle on a survival mode during my entire gameplay, I think myself and many other players would be happy if it was brought back just as a game mode. That's going to wrap up this video. How do you think survival might be realized in the Division 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as any topics you'd like me to cover. Finally, if you'd like this video, do all the things, subscribe, like, and share. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you agents in my next video.